sure.
And we've been learning a lot more about, who all of these victims are, who they were. We know one, Bob Violet, was working with kids at the bowling alley. He coached them, and from what we've heard, he died trying to protect them. We've heard of other heroes, Joe Walker, I believe, whose father was told that he grabbed a butcher knife and was charging toward the gunman, trying to save people.
He was the manager at the bar, which was the second place that was hit. So we heard that story as well. And again, just to run through some of the names, we also heard about Joshua Seal. He was taking part in a deaf cornhole tournament in Lewiston when he was killed. That's according to his wife. He was, of course, many of you remember him. He was a sign language interpreter, often seen interpreting the Governor Mills and the CDC news conferences with those COVID-19 updates that we all, of course, had for about 2 years almost. Joshua Seal was one of the two main interpreters for that. So again, he was killed. Bath Ironworks saying that 40-year-old Peyton Brewer Ross also killed at that deaf cornhole tournament that was happening at Schmenke's Bar and Grill. Arthur Strout's father says his son also killed at that bar that night. He says, in fact, he had dropped his son off there just minutes before those shots rang out.
Ron Morin's family telling the BDN that he was just a gregarious, upbeat guy. He also died in these shootings. Trisha Aslan's sister said she was bowling there with her sister, of course, at the bowling alley, just-in-time recreation. She says her sister was actually calling 911 for help when she was killed.
Yeah, and again, we also heard of the father and teenage son from Winthrop. Bill Young, his 14-year-old son, Aaron, the youngest of the victims, a freshman at Winthrop High School. They were gunned down in the rampage that happened at the bowling alley, so among the very first people killed.
And certainly now more of the focus can shift to these victims, those who lost their lives, those who are injured, and the path ahead, now that the manhunt has come to an end.
Yeah, so much of the focus, again, and the anxiety, as we've been saying, has been on this suspect, and rightly so. I mean, a lot of grief, anger, frustration, all directed at this one individual. So many questions, why? And again, we're starting to hear some things about what might have been a motive, hopefully, and again, we expect we will learn more about a motive, perhaps as soon as 20 minutes from now, as far as state police believe. More likely, though, those details are going to come out in the days ahead.
Yeah, there's still certainly a lot of investigating to do. Right. Even if the body is found, the investigation is not over. There may not be a prosecution, obviously, without a suspect to prosecute, which I know a lot of people, kind of wanted to see him brought to justice. But the investigation certainly will continue. We hope it will bring more answers and some closure.
And not just for us and for you, for the families, so they can learn what happened here, have some peace of mind of knowing, if they want to know, and I'm sure that many of them do, of exactly how and why. How could this happen to our family, to our loved one? We did learn today, we should say, state police confirming earlier today that a note was found from Robert Card. State police would not go into the details of exactly what was contained in that note. The Associated Press did report, citing law enforcement sources, that it was a suicide note that was written to his son. That would certainly seem to line up with what we're learning tonight, that in fact they do believe they found his body dead by suicide. We also are understanding, again, the Associated Press reporting that a gun matching the one that was used, and we saw it in those photos of Robert Card as he entered, those early photos released of Robert Card entering the just-in-time, better known to some as the spare time, bowling alley there on the north side of Lewiston. The weapon that he was carrying, aiming and killing people with, that weapon may have been recovered within the vehicle that was found at the boat launch. Police still working, though, to confirm that is the case. All of that reporting, again, not directly from state police. That's the AP reporting, citing that to state police sources, to police sources.
And if you're just joining us, we should recap a bit. Sources saying that Robert Card's body has been found. Senator Angus King confirming to CBS 13 that his body was found, that he died by suicide. And we are expecting more details to come from law enforcement authorities. Just in about 15 minutes at 10 o'clock, there is going to be a press conference held at Lewiston City Hall.
Let's go ahead to CBS 13's Anna Kuhn. Again, our best information at this point is that he was found in Lisbon, not far from where that car was found near the boat launch. And in fact, the recycling center, which is behind you there, Anna, in the distance behind that police roadblock, that's where that recycling center is. Again, what are you seeing there tonight?
Yeah, Greg, the recycling center is about a quarter of a mile behind me. You can't see much right now other than this police roadblock. Lisbon police officers are blocking that road, and they are armed here tonight. But as you said, not far from that boat launch, on the other side of the recycling center is the river, which just shows you that it's all connected there right on the water, so not too far from that boat launch. And not much major police activity happening here. We have seen a cruiser drive by, but again, those flashing lights are on. They're guarding that road, not letting anybody through. But as we've only been here just a few minutes and already the media presence have grown. But Greg, Marissa, as you talk about searching for closure, there's also a lot of residents here in the parking lot. They want to be here for this moment. They want to know what's happening. They want that sense of closure and that sense of safety. I talked to one Lewiston resident today who's actually left town. She's out staying with her parents, and she told me that she doesn't feel safe in Lewiston anymore and suspects that she won't until they find this suspect. And I think that's been the consensus all around. All the people that we're talking to are just waiting for this moment when they find Robert Card, dead or alive. And here's to hoping that this is that moment. Greg, Marissa.
Yeah, Anna, and I know you mentioned you talked to some folks. Do you get a sense that people are feeling some relief tonight?
I mean, the people here in the parking lot definitely seem on edge. They've got their phones out. They're recording this moment. They just want to be here for this because they don't want to miss a second of it. They want an update as soon as they can possibly get it. And I think that's how everybody in the state and in the region is feeling.
All right, yeah. Anna, thank you so much.
So important to hear. And again, as we're waiting, again, we are waiting another 12 or 13 minutes, assuming they're on time, and they may not be. But we've been told roughly 10 p.m. tonight. We're expecting a state police briefing there at Lewiston City Hall, where all these briefings have been held throughout the last couple of days. We are expecting much more about exactly and finally fully official confirmation from police to the public that in fact Robert Card's body has been found. But as we've been saying here, Marissa, again, so we've attempted, and we got a better chance today as we learn more from law enforcement and to finally release the identities of all these individuals. So many stories of people who died. We heard stories of heroism as well, but we do know as well that Winthrop, that we talked about Lewiston, Winthrop was a community that suffered grievous losses here.
Yeah, they were hit incredibly hard, including two of the victims were a father and his 14-year-old son. Our CBS 13's Brad Rogers talked to their family today.
Well, here in Winthrop, a husband and father was shot and wounded in the attacks. A local high school student's uncle was killed, and so was a local school teacher's close friend. Not only that, a father and his teenage son were both shot and killed at the bowling alley. Among the first people killed by the gunman Wednesday night were 44-year-old Bill Young and his 14-year-old son, Aaron.
Losing one would have been hard enough, but losing